It's all going down. Welcome to the program, everybody. Tyrone Bowman live. Give people a few minutes. Let me tighten up my tie a little bit. Kind of spruce up for the camera. I'm just kidding, y'all. Check it out. I'm going to talk about the Netflix and 50 Cent's Diddy Docuseries. I want to know your opinion about it. I want to know your opinion about it, rather. And I would like to know what your thoughts are in the comment section. I'm quite sure some of you're going to go off script and you're going to go off topic. That's expected when you're live. That's the bottom line. Recently, Netflix and 50 Cent's horroring new series, Diddy Docuseries, looks back at the disgraced music mogul's rise to fame and his fall from grace. According to The Guardian, in the music section, this article was written by Anna Betts. It's interesting because I actually started watching the Diddy docuseries on Netflix. I watched about 2 hours of it already, and I'm going to check out the rest of it. And I will say this. If what they have said in the docuseries is alleged to be true, then there's going to be quite a problem moving forward. And I'll tell you the reason why a little later in this program. If the allegations that they are asserting, or to this point are alleged, have any credibility to them whatsoever, then somewhere along the line, new charges are going to be forthcoming. So let's get this started. According to The Guardian, the controversy Netflix docuseries Sean Combs' The Reckoning had already been called a, quote, shameful hit piece, end quote, by the disgraced mogul's lawyers after a trailer was released on Monday. Now, after all 4 episodes have been dropped on Netflix, it has been called, quote, grimly necessary, end quote, and a, quote, relentless, end quote, portrait of a, quote, a terrifying individual, end quote, by critics. And as you know, even within the confines of imprisonment, they do have cable and they have access to certain things. Now, if Netflix is one of them, then there could be a problem. Because there were a lot of alleged criminal acts that took place during his power regime. And if that is the case, then why wasn't the district attorney able to get the major convictions? Well, let's find out here. The series produced by Combs' longtime rival, Curtis, quote, 50 Cent, end quote, Jackson, chronicles his fame to fame and details some of the allegations made against him over the years. It features a wide range of voices, including former members of his inner circle, several former employees and associates, childhood friends, artists who were signed to his label, Bad Boy Records, 2 jurors from his federal trial, and several people who have filed civil lawsuits against Combs, some accusing him of SA allegations that Combs has denied. The documentary comes several months after the Bad Boy Records founder was found guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, but not guilty of the more serious sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy charges against him. In October, Combs, who had pleaded not guilty to all of the charges, was sentenced to 50 months in prison. Combs is currently serving his sentence at Fort Dix Prison Complex in New Jersey and is appealing both his conviction and his sentence. He is still facing dozens of civil lawsuits accusing him of sexual abuse. He has denied all the allegations against him in the lawsuits. Well, as a criminal justice matron, as a law student, my bad, as a law student, one of the questions I have to ask here, what does 50 Cent have to gain from this? And why is he the producer or the executive producer of this? What's his angle? What grudge or grudges is he bearing against Diddy? Because many times people will hold on to things on the inside of their minds, on the inside of their hearts for long times, and they wait for just the right moment and opportune time when you can't fight against them or against what's being said. And then they strike while the iron is hot. So what is going on here? And if you haven't watched it, go to Netflix. Check it out. It's worth watching, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you agree or disagree with Combs, that's not the issue. Because a lot of things I saw in there were very disturbing. A lot of things I heard were very disturbing. And if that is the case, that's why I use the term alleged. And if that is the case, there may be forthcoming charges somewhere up the road. You've got 100 civil lawsuits pending against you while you're incarcerated. And it goes behind the scenes of what took place in the hotel before the police actually took him into custody. I don't want to stray from this. I want to keep in line with the script here tonight. After the series premiered on Tuesday, Judah Eaglemeyer, a spokesperson for Combs, said in a statement that, quote, "We're not going to comment on individual claims being repeated in the documentary," and adding, "Many of the people featured have long-standing personal grievances, financial motives, or credibility issues that have been documented for years. Several of these stories have already been addressed in court filings, and others were never raised in any legal form because they're simply not true." He added, "The project was built around a one-sided narrative led by a publicity-admitted adversary and repeats allegations without context, evidence, or verification." Well, you know what? That is the standard statement that a lawyer would make defending a high-profile client. Just to deny. And 50 Cent does not have to seek publicity. He doesn't have to seek it. 50 Cent doesn't have to clamor for the spotlight. But there is a question to be asked. What is going on here? And why did Netflix allow this to happen? Back to the facts. Sean Combs continues to address legitimate matters through the legal process, but not through a biased Netflix production, he said. Two jurors from Combs' federal trial are interviewed in the series and speak out for the first time since the 12-person jury delivered a split verdict earlier this year. Quote, "When we were in the deliberation room and we've come to an agreement and we're only saying that he's guilty for these 2 counts. My words exactly were, quote, 'Oh shit,' end quote." And one of the jurors, a woman identified as Juror 160, said. During the 2-month trial this summer, prosecutors accused Combs of sex trafficking women by coercing them into participating in drug-fueled sex marathons with male escorts. I want to ask you a question. Did you see the unedited version of the video when Diddy was viciously attacking Cassie Ventura? I did. Because you know they only show the edited version of it on Instagram. But I saw the entire video, the unedited video. You might want to check it out for yourself. And it is not pretty. All right, let's get back to this. So they go on to say that a woman was identified. So during the 2-month trial this summer, prosecutors accused Combs of sex trafficking women by coercing them into participating in drug-fueled sex marathons with male escorts. Central to their case were allegations from Combs' former girlfriend, singer Cassandra Cassie Ventura, who testified that over their decade-long relationship, Combs physically abused, coerced, and blackmailed her into taking part into these sex encounters. Combs' lawyers acknowledged past instances of domestic violence, but denied that any coercion or sex trafficking occurred, insisting that all the sexual activity was consensual. After 3 days of deliberation, the jury, made up of 8 men and 4 women, reached a verdict and convicted Combs on the 2 prostitution-related counts. In the series, Juror 160, who said that she belonged to that generation who basically grew up listening to Combs' music but was not a personal fan of his, was asked whether she believed that Combs was a violent person. She said that based on the 2016 hotel surveillance video of Combs beating Ventura, that was thrown to the jury in court. He can be. It's unforgivable, honestly. You can't beat that small girl like that the way he did, Juror 160 said. But she added, you can say he was a terrible person, but domestic violence wasn't one of the charges. The other juror interviewed a man identified as Juror 75, who said he had zero knowledge of Combs' before the trial, and that during the trial he felt confused by Ventura and Combs' relationship. Asked whether he saw any evidence of force, fraud, or coercion between Cassie and Sean, the juror responded, that was a very, very interesting relationship. This is 2 people in love. They're overtly in love. You cannot explain. She wanted to be with him. He took her for granted. He never thought that she would leave him. So it's like both hands clapping together. You cannot clap with one hand, both hands, then you get the noise. Juror 75 pointed to the affectionate text messages between Ventura and Combs after the hotel assault that were presented by the defense during trial. The very next day, the following day, you see how they're getting back together and exchanging text messages like nothing ever happened. He said, so now we are confused. What's going on here? He's beating her, and the next minute, they're going on dinners and trips. It's like going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's my answer, the juror said. I mean, if you don't like something, you completely get out. You cannot have it both ways. You have the luxury, and then you complain about it. I don't think so. End quote. Asked if he believed that justice had been served in this case, Juror 75 said 100%, adding, quote, we saw both sides of it, and we came with our conclusions, end quote. One of Combs' former employees featured in the docuseries is Capricorn Clark, who was his former assistant and Bad Boy entertainment executive. Clark, who had testified against him at trial, and told jurors that Combs once kidnapped her and threatened her life, and said in the documentary that she felt that the jury didn't believe anything she was saying. I'm watching them as they relate to him. I think they all kind of had a like for Puff. Whenever they looked over at Puff, it was like buddy buddy, she said. They were starstruck, end quote. I'm going to leave it right there. I'm not going to add anything to this article. Never surrender. Never quit.